we're going to talk, before we really kind of delve into all this, what I wanted to do while you're finishing up eating is talk a little bit about why it is that these Zillows and the Trulies of the world are doing what they're doing. Like was mentioned in my bio, I've been in this business now since 1995, 96. Anybody around back then, 95, 96? I was a junior in high school. No problem. But what happened in 95, 96 is that was the day that Realtor.com essentially was born. So I was working in real estate at that point, and the voting members of the brokerage I was with came back and sat me down and said, I have no idea what I just voted on. And that was when Realtor.com, all that other stuff. And that really did signal to me two things. One, OMG. Okay? This internet thing isn't a fad. Two, if y'all don't know what's going on, you need to start recognizing it right now. Okay? I think you've got bigger problems, frankly, as an agent. And this is coming to you as a realtor, right? I sold real estate in Minnesota, California, Washington State, and Alaska. Okay? This is the only business that I know. I don't want it to go away. One of the reasons why I'm working for NAR is because I love what you guys do, and that there's value here in everything that you're doing. I think we have a bigger problem than Zillow and Trulia. I think the bigger problem that we have is that our business doesn't mesh well with consumers right now. Consumers are looking for real estate online now months, if not years, in advance before they even reach out to you. I think our marketing is not very good. I think our marketing right now hinges on, I've got the best real estate search than the other guy. You realize that the other guy had his exact same website built just like yours, and he built every other website here in this area, right? We're essentially doing the exact same thing we've been doing forever. I think we don't collaborate enough as an industry. I think if at the end of the day, at the end of this half hour, you have no idea what I'm talking about, you better find somebody within your organization that does. Okay? With that being said, I'm just going to start this off. So, let's get a couple things out of the way first. So, Amy brought this up a couple times, and the leadership everywhere has brought this up. And I've actually done this presentation for NAR leadership, so y'all can rest easy knowing that I've had this conversation at many levels. I'm going to stand over here. Zillow does not want to be a broker. They don't need to be a broker, guys. Who here runs a brokerage? Y'all know that your operating margins are super slim, right? You've got a bow tie. I'm going to pick on you for the rest of the day. So, you've invested in technology that your members may or may not use, right? You've got the same value proposition questions that a lot of other agents are having right now. It's like, why am I paying desk fees to you? I hear it. Why am I paying associations dues to you? When it comes to things like Zillow, they know this. They know that they don't want to be a broker, and to be a broker for a gazillion people online is a waste of their $340 or $400 million in cash that they've got. Okay? Keep that in mind. They don't need to be a broker because they don't want to be. And if you look and see what's happening now, people are already treating them as a broker. We have Joanne Riley, associate broker, Zillow premier agent, and then the Coldwell Banker brand. That resonates with consumers, guys, because you know what? Zillow has become a verb with a lot of folks. I realize this is a non-disclosure state, but the information that is there, we need to start using a lot better. What I worry about more, and I met the political advisor person here, right? I worry more that they are trying to talk more like human beings. Here's the problem with realtors in general. We talk like realtors. We have to stop doing that. No one talks in absorption rate numbers. No one talks in casular indices. This is something that came up last month. There's some housing finance reform going through the House right now. You may know about this, being the campaign person. But look and see how Spencer Raskoff, CEO of Zillow, talks about the exact same issue we're talking about on the bottom right-hand corner. Check it out. Everything you wanted to know about Senate Housing Reform Bill with a link that goes to Zillow's website. And look at our messaging. It's what all realtors talk about. on the bottom right-hand corner. After 10 plus years of urging by NAR, HUD-Gov issues that blah, 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 blah. I have no idea what that means. If I'm a consumer reading that, which one am I going to read first? Their messaging is awesome. They are doing the things that we should be doing and we have traditionally been doing for the last 100 years of our existence. They're starting to do it just a little bit better than us. Worry less about the listings issue, worry more about the fact that they're having conversations with the same politicians we are. It's amazing what you can do when you are paying attention and doing the things that your competition is not. Okay? Regardless of your position on data, it will always yearn to be free. That's the thing with the internet, right? The internet has unleashed forces upon our business that we are still coming to terms with. Guys, no matter where we are in this country, non-disclosure, disclosure, keep in mind, by the way, your average consumer has no idea what non-disclosure versus disclosure means. Okay? They don't care. They just want access to it. Now, this is what I Google, because Google's a verb, right? And by the way, you should worry less about Zillow and more about Google. Whatever shows up on the first three sections of Google, they're really the only things that are important. You can hide a dead body on page 2 of Google, and no one will ever know because no one ever gets there. But look and see what's happening here. Right? So you've got realtors buying ads up here, but in a non-disclosure state, when people are looking for real estate, they search it, they use Google, and look what they find. Now, look at that search return just for 1 second. Do you see anything different there? No? Tell you what, your clients do. Check it out. 244 homes for sale in San Marcos. That's not a search return, guys. That may not be accurate. Actually, is that accurate?
No.
Is there more than 244 homes in San Marcos?
Less.
No. It's selling fast, tight inventory. We've got all the issues that we're dealing with now. But is that not a compelling number right there? In every non-disclosure state I've been to, this is what Zillow's doing. They're using your data, the data they do have, way better than you. We have to start taking back the advantages that we do have. The direct access to MLS, the insight that we can gain from our MLSs, everything else that's involved with that. Okay? When it comes to data, this is one of those things where every time the market gets good, you know the market's good, because people start saying, man, this is too easy. Why isn't there more disruption in real estate? I've read 5 of them in the last month. Are real estate brokers obsolete? Raise your hand if you think you're obsolete. Exactly. Raise your hand if you know that this job is way harder than the public even knows about. Right? You know when you talk to a client, you know what, if you don't hear from me between contract initiation and closing, that's a good thing. Right? Because we have shuttled the paperwork, we have made things go, we've killed people if we needed to kill people in order to keep deals together. Right? It is a really hard business, but you've got people like this saying, you all are going obsolete, mainly for these reasons. You guys are obsessed with keeping your arms around data that doesn't exist anymore. Your value proposition goes beyond that. I would echo the sentiments of this. We need to think beyond just the obvious in our business now and start rolling with it. Technology will forever outpace your ability to cope with it. Now, I come to Texas a lot. I come to Louisiana a lot. Anywhere in the South where y'all are non-disclosure, you want to just do some cool things, stop it. Because every time you develop something, it's going to be obsolete by the time you roll it out. Okay? Check this out. Anybody here ever heard of Kickstarter? Kickstarter.com? Basically, if I've got an idea, I don't even need money anymore to launch it. I just need a nice video. And I throw it online, and I ask for money. Somebody give me money. I've got this wonderful idea. Now, you may think that it's not of consequence in terms of the money that's going through here. But last year, 3 million people pledged $480 million to Kickstarter projects. 480 million. They should be buying homes, but you know what they're doing? They're investing their money in other things right now. That is an amazing number. $1.3 million pledged per day online towards projects that may or may not exist at the end of the day. Right? $913 per minute. Now, what does that mean for real estate? This whole idea of crowdsourced funding is going to be a huge thing. This is groundfloor.us. Anybody heard of groundfloor.us? This is freaking out banks across the country. You are an investment property buyer. You buy homes and you flip them. That happens a lot, right? So imagine buying up a home, you wanting to flip it, and instead of going to a bank, you go and ask money from people online. They just funded their first transaction 2 months ago. You can go right now and invest in real estate across the country without talking to a realtor. All you need to do is have up to, or starting at $100, up to $1 million, and your investment is totally sound with terms that are laid out with money that will be paid back to you in 6 months. This is where real estate is going, guys. Real estate is going this way. Will it happen here? You don't know. For sure what's happening is that you're going to need to have local solutions to the local problems that you don't have. You're a non-disclosure state, you've got a kick-ass MLS, you're coming together and merging and doing some cool things together, collaborating as a multi-association group, which by the way would not have happened 5 years ago. Right? Get off your butts, let's start doing something cool. Right? What's happening now in the context of real estate is this. This is curb call app. Anybody ever heard of Uber here in this town? Uber? So you go to, I get out off the plane in Chicago when I get home. I light up an app. I don't spend time in the taxi cab line, which can be an hour wait sometimes. I call the first cab that's available to shuttle me home. There's no cash given up. Everything is transacted via an app on my phone. Curb call is the exact same thing for real estate. I see your listing. I'm sitting out in front of it. And then I can summon the first agent nearby close enough to show it to me. This company did not exist before November of last year. You all know that? Didn't exist before last year. And now, 4 or 5 months later, you've got a major brokerage in California signing up for it. You've got MLSs across the country signing up for it. Right? We have already had our time marginalized, guys. This is going to be even worse. So you can see why Zillow is one of at least of your worries right now. The fact that we haven't learned how to set expectations with our clients is a pretty big deal. My wife is now a realtor in Chicago. She met a person at the open house. And this is when I say you really need to start paying attention to what your competitors are not doing. And that goes for Zillow and your fellow brokers alike. My wife met somebody, had a $350,000 condo to sell, wanted to buy a $600,000 condo, ready to go. My wife did her normal questioning. At the end of the day, this person said, I already have a realtor friend. But this is how little this person thought about the realtor. I've learned so much more from you. This is my wife, me talking once. It's a little less awkward in real life. Okay? I've learned more about Chicago real estate talking to you in the last hour than I did in the last 3 years working with my friend that's an agent. We have to start taking for granted the relationships we do have. We need to start running with the relationships we have and making them better. This is the stuff of your nightmares, but it's going to be implemented soon, guys. It's going to be implemented soon. Technology is getting a lot smarter, right? This is the kind of things that Zillow and Google together are starting to do. Now, you can misspell realtor 300 million times in Google. Give it a shot. Give it a shot. Misspell realtor every which way you can. You know what it does? Google says, you meant realtor. I'm giving you realtor. I'm also giving you all the realtors that are around you within 5-6 miles. Search returns there. Technology is getting smarter and it's starting to tell people what's important. Apple did the exact same thing. Who's got an iPhone here? right? Just a couple years ago, y'all loved your Blackberries, didn't you? But then Apple showed you how important it was to have these supercomputers in your phone, and that you will spend $500 every other year for one. And you have, haven't you? We can take that and run with it. We need to start telling our consumers what's important. Here are our next clients. I'm not even worried about Gen X, Gen Y, millennials. Now, millennials, I know you're here in the room. It's actually a pretty diverse age group here in this room, which is fantastic. Not like that in San Antonio, by the way, which is where I'm going next. But millennials are not going to save you. They're graduating college with record amounts of debt, okay? They're graduating college with a mortgage already. These kids are going to change the way we do business. This is Jack and Gabby. I don't even know how old they are. They're kids of my clients. So, Jack and Gabby already have iPads. Jack got sent to timeout New Year's Eve, messed around with his little sister, wrote an email to his mom asking him why am I in This kid's on his second iPad, guys. In order to have an iPad, y'all know you have to log into the thing, right? With your email address. You realize at that point, from here on out to when he buys a house, that iPad is going to be at the very crux of everything about him. Apple marketers from all over the world are going to know what he likes because of what he does on Facebook. They're going to know what kind of things he shops for because of the websites that he goes to. By snooping on his email, they're going to know how much he's going to be making as he gets a raise every couple of years and he gets notified via email. This is where technology is going. This is why Zillow is doing what they're doing. Zillow and Google have now teamed up. They're pumping all of Zillow data into Google right now. I wonder if I've got it here. Yeah. Everything now is controlled by our mobile devices. Right? We all know that is true. I now can get a home completely controlled by my iPad bundled with my cable. You all see AT&T Home Life? Go check it out. It's amazing. Your value proposition has just changed. I don't need a lockbox. You think he's going to need a lockbox anymore? He's going to have a camera built into his front door. He's going to know when somebody's coming up to view his listing. He's going to know who that person is just by looking at that person and then Googling him before they get to that door. Central lockboxes, this is the stuff that drives them crazy. That's not your value proposition anymore, guys. What are you doing for him right now? That's what we need to figure out. He's already paperless, he's already savvy, and he cares nothing about our politics. And I'm talking about our internal politics. You know, there might be some local versus TAR versus NAR sentiment. Let's get that figured out, please. Because we need to get this stuff figured out for our clients going forward. Lord knows, all of us will be here in 10 years, 15 years, when Jack and Gabby are ready to buy. Okay? Because if this is not a call to arms, I don't know what is. The playing field has been leveled in his favor. That's what we need to realize. It's not about broker A versus broker B anymore and what associations are doing to get in the way. This is about everything that's leveled towards the consumer. The best example, I'm not going to show this video. The best example is DocuSign. DocuSign, who uses e-signatures here? Anybody? About half of them. Let's figure out how to use mobile to make our client experiences better. Because my wife, now a realtor, I told her, hey, you know what? You should probably start training your clients on e-signatures. Because in this day and age, when you need to write a contract on the hood of a car sometimes, that might set you apart from the other agent. My wife said, you know what? I don't need to. Out of the 9 people she put under contract in the last month, all but 1 had used DocuSign to sign their contracts for their employers. DocuSign, we couldn't get the real estate agents to run with it, but you know what? Every single multinational company ran with it. Because they don't need an HR department trying to do paperwork anymore. Technology has leveled the playing field, has leveled it towards the consumer, and we need to do something about it. And stop treating people as leads. This is the big, big deal for me. Do you call the last buyer or seller that you got online, the last referral that you got online, when they're in the back of your car looking for houses, do you call them Mr. and Mrs. Lead? Lord, no, right? You lose that person in 2 seconds. Start treating these people as people, guys, with needs. Figure out what their needs are. Come up with a value proposition with yourself and with your brokerages that solves that problem, and run with it no matter where they're getting their information from. Okay? This is where everything is going, folks. You can see now, for me, Zillow is less of an issue than anything else. I worry more about the fact that Jack and Gabby, they won't know what a realtor is in 10 years. They won't know. I Googled you, I Zillowed this, I YouTubed that, I liked this. Where are we going to come into that fray? Where are we going to be marketing-wise? Where are we going to be as an industry when these people are ready to buy a home? That's what we need to figure out first. So, everyone's done eating. Good. I've killed the mood. So, what do you want to do about it? So, I was asked, where do your listings go? Does anybody know where their listings go right now? Good. Bow tie guy. Always bow tie guy. Good. So, you put my house on the market, where's it go?
Put it into our back office system, and it goes to 868-ish websites.
So it goes to your,
back office, like a crest, back office organization, and it goes out to Zillow, Trulia, Homes. You know, it's syndicated through a brand.
Okay. Zillow, Trulia, so you're...
HomeSnap, Homes.com, all the gauntlet, and then plus all...
So you're totally cool with it?
City feet. Mm-hmm.
So here's the big problem that tends to happen that way. You and I both talked about this just in the 5 minutes that I talked to you, right? Do you care where the listing ends up as long as you sell it? What is your theory behind syndication?
My theory behind syndication is we're in a service industry, and I'm representing a seller who wants their house sold. And so it should go to every avenue available for that seller to sell their house.
So then you and I talked about leads, right? They sell these leads back to you.
I think I used the word ransom.
She used the word ransom for that. Now, let me see a show of hands. Who doesn't care where the listing goes as soon as they press submit? Who thinks that Zillow's holding your stuff for ransom? Who has no idea what I'm talking about? Yeah, for me it becomes you all need to sit in the same, go get a beer, and talk about your two ideologies, right? See whether or not they mesh. Figure that out sooner rather than later. So are you a franchise or are you an independent?
Franchise. Was an independent and then switched to a franchise.
So you went from an independent to a franchise. Okay, that's a very interesting move. Seeing more and more of that nationally, by the way, it's an interesting thing. So
due to technology and these things as an independent, we couldn't financially do.
Can't compete. That's a big thing. And we mentioned that. Zillow will spend this year $60 million on print marketing. Yeah, you talked about it, right? Billboards, right? You realize they spent like $20 million last year just on billboard advertising across the country? Right? Trulia is going to spend $45 million this year just on TV ads. That's more collectively than we'll spend on everything, period, together as an industry. How do you compete? You either go with them or you pull out, right? So, are you a member of your board locally, or are you just here? So you are. When people ask you, okay, so where does the listing go, and are you cool with that? What do you say?
Just what I just said. I mean, we're in the service industry for the list as a listing agent, and you know, I am extremely fine with it going out to the websites to give the most exposure I can to my client.
Does anybody have a counterpoint to that, other than your president? Anybody?
What about updating the information? When it's syndicated,
Thank you.
I found that the information is not updated, that once you put it out there, it's out there, but when you change the price or change something, it doesn't automatically update and everything's wrong.
Accuracy, right? Who here says that, oh man, Zillow is inaccurate? I'm one of your clients. I just saw this house on Zillow. What do you tell me?
that it's not available anymore.
What about this estimate?
It's off. I don't know where they get their numbers. It's not accurate.
So it's inaccurate, right? It may or may not be available. Do you think Zillow cares about that?
No.
Do you know that their numbers, when it comes to everything they use as metrics, page views, impressions, all that stuff, you know what it's supposed to do? It's supposed to make their Wall Street people happy. They could care less about you. I think it's up to you, though, to take control and know where your listings go. Do you know why this estimate's inaccurate?
You could, yeah, as an agent, you could give them the MLS data or.
I'm not even talking about that. Why is it inaccurate?
Because the base data, like all the foundation of all their data is inaccurate to start with. So
Which data is that?
What they're aggregating
It's public available.
from what they're
It's
taking
on the
from us.
publicly available data.
Here's the thing. No matter what, the lack of sold data, right? So no matter what your stance is on data and where things are going and where things aren't going, you need to nail the reasons why you're better. Who's got it good? Here's the reasons why the data is inaccurate. 30 seconds. Can anybody nail that? Go ahead.
Well, we just had one just this week. It was brand new listing. We posted it. We had the client email us a snapshot of listing agents on the site on Zillow.com with another listing agent, and he asked us why. Of course, we haven't responded to him yet because we don't know why that listing agent appeared. It's not even the one that listed.
Here's the thing. No matter what you do, whether you're for or against it, let's create a baseline of information for our clients. Park it somewhere, whether it's the association website, the MLS's website, or anywhere else. I would say deploy it and talk about why it is what it is. We need to go on the offensive when it comes to information right now. For or against it, I can care less. It's a business model decision for me, frankly. And I'm not one to talk about business models for anyone. My business model when I was an agent is totally irrelevant to what it is now. Okay? But a baseline of information as to why information is what it is something that we need to start doing for the general public now. That is a huge, huge advantage for us, and we need to start rolling with it right now. Why is the data inaccurate? They don't get it, and they just kind of guess with everything else via an algorithm. Mr. Consumer, do you believe in everything that you Google? No. I tell you, most people aren't now because they're realizing that everything they're seeing online is an ad. Everything they're seeing online is an ad. Everything is ad-driven now. Let's roll with that. Did you have a comment?
I was just going to say it's the statistics, and you can make them do whatever you want.
Who? Consumers?
Zillow. Their statistical analysis doesn't have feet on the ground or eyes to see, and they don't have a way to sift through the data accurately.
Make that accessible to Joe Blow, a regular person. Yeah.
Look at the statistics on the bottom that says how often they're correct.
Yeah. Is anybody using their data's estimate accuracy chart? Yeah. The data's estimate accuracy chart. At the end of the day, you guys will always be at the center of these conversations. We need to start having better conversations about the data that's there. Google search returns in general right now are up 256%. You know why? People are realizing the amount of crap that they're seeing online when they Google something has gotten to the point where they just can't fathom it anymore. And what they're starting to do is Googling local searches. How many different neighborhoods are there here in this town? More than one, right? It's not just San Marcos, right? There's a myriad of neighborhoods that are out there. You realize people right now, they're Googling neighborhoods now instead of cities. They're getting really specific. That's an avenue for you. Take the data that you have, make it public. Take your value proposition that you guys have, make it public. We need to stop this. Hey, I am a market expert. Trust me, call me. We need to stop that. It's taking 120 days for people to see your website and to circle back to you. 120 days. Are you planning 4 months out per transaction? Most people aren't. The access to information has caused all this, folks. Longer lead generation times, longer closing dates. Relationships get started months in advance. Where is your marketing when that comes into play? What I would say this, maybe this is the only thing that I could do. You're going to forever have brokers giving data to Zillow, and most people I know, they're going to keep buying those zip codes. Everyone I know wants to buy more, frankly. Okay? There's a very silent majority of people driving this. Do what these companies are not doing. It's the one piece of advice that I can give you right now. You've got more information in the palm of your hands just by accessing the MLS than you can ever dream of if you work for Zillow. This is the stuff we need to start rolling with right now. If you've got a niche, start proving it. If you know how to analyze MLS data and your association is giving you market reports, use it. What's the one question that we all get no matter where we go? You go to a barbecue, you go ham with your family. How's the market? Who is answering that question now on their website? Answer that damn question, guys. Zillow will become a non-issue. All these other websites will become a non-issue at that point. Answer that question. How's the market? How's the market? How's the market? Do it in 4-month increments. Make it resonate with the consumer. Because what you'll do right now will affect you in a month, in a year, in 5 years. Okay? You all have any questions on anything? Go ahead.
Don't you think Jack
Is Jack going to know everything he is on an ad? I'm glad you brought that up, so I'm going to close on this. This is the new integration between your iPhone and your car. So the last upgrade that your iPhone had upgraded your iPhone so that you plug it into a car, and 90% of your iPhone will now work in a car. You realize that there are no cars right now that can take this upgrade? Okay? That's one. That's how fast this stuff is generating. Now, 2, Jack and Gabby on their iPads. They're not even old enough to, utter complete sentences. But everything they do on that iPad is going to culminate and shape what they see online. So what you're going to see more than anything is when Jack and Gabby are adults, literally Google, Zillow, all these companies are going to be giving them what they think is important to them. So it really is less about what Jack and Gabby is going to be searching for. It's more about what that iPad is going to anticipate them needing. Guys, let's face it. These apps, everything about them is smart. You go on your iPad right now, it knows everything you've been doing since you turned the thing on. Then you log back in, it knows everything that you did with the last iPad that you had, right? It's suggesting to you, because all the garbage that's out there, what's important is huge. That's why I would say don't mess with SEO. Stop paying for ads online. It's a waste of money. What you need to start doing is getting more eyeballs onto our websites. More eyeballs into what we're doing. So Google can start suggesting them us instead of these other technology companies that's out there. So it's less about what Jack and Gabby are searching for. It's what these iPads, everything they've been doing. Their previous behavior suggests they need.
So who's in charge? Google or Jack and Gabby?
Google. Going forward, we need to be less concerned about Zillow because it could be another company there in 10 years. Whatever shows up on Google is more important to people. And you know this to be true too. What has become a verb with our clients? Google, 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 Google. I saw this on Google. I saw this on Zillow. The reason why I got there is because of Google. But right now, though, the reason why they're using Zillow instead of us is they get 70 million people looking at their website a month. At least what the Wall Street guys say. It doesn't matter. I don't know. But that's the battleground we need to fight. Okay? So where do your listings go? I say it doesn't really matter. I think you've got a business model you need to run with. I think you need to come up with a baseline of information as an organization. It's less about what Zillow says about Texas. It's what Zillow and Google say about your towns. come up with something to say about it, come up with collateral that you base on your association, on your websites, as an organization, and you share it with your clients and your family, and everyone that loves you and knows what you do right now, starting now. Guys, keep up with it, keep up with it, keep up with it. Guys like Bowtie are going to continue to innovate. Y'all get on the same page, no matter what their business model is, and just talk about it like human beings, guys. These companies are starting to talk like human beings as well. That's what I'm afraid of. We can collaborate with this and we can run with it and show what our true value proposition is. You all cool with that? Please keep me employed. I would love to be here in 10 years, help you out with this stuff, all right? So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've worked for you. So if you have any questions on any of this is actually part of the 2.5-hour presentation I did for a bunch of leadership teams across the country. Y'all can get a copy of it if you want. I'll give it to Amy. If you have questions on anything on how this stuff means to you as Texas agents, I've got a lot of family in Houston, so I know exactly what's happening down there. Just let me know. And yeah, thank you very much, guys.